Uncle KC isn't going to sit here and pretend that I'm some kind of expert on Major League Baseball. I grew up watching baseball. I was a big fan of the Chicago Cubs, but once I got older and busier, and to be honest with you, once I got bored with the product after the steroid era, I just quit watching Major League Baseball altogether. So I'm not going to pretend I'm the expert on the ongoing negotiations for a new collective bargaining agreement. From my understanding, one of the main points of contention is the implementation of a salary cap. Baseball is the only major sport in America without a salary cap. From an ownership perspective, especially with smaller market teams, I completely understand why team owners would want a salary cap. They would have a firm payroll every year. It would limit the amount of money players can make. From that perspective, I get it. At the same time, I also understand it from a player's perspective. I understand Bryce Harper's frustration when he told Rob Manfred last week to get the fuck out of his clubhouse. And credit to Rob Manfred for not backing down. He didn't run away. He didn't leave the clubhouse. Stood up to Bryce Harper and told him, I ain't going nowhere. From a player's perspective, obviously, you don't want to cap your earnings. One of the things I love about YouTube, my income potential is limitless. When I worked at my old job, I never got a raise in 7 years. Even when I was promoted, my income barely changed. I think I was making an extra $500-600 a month. If I was still working at the company, I would be struggling right now financially. With YouTube, my income increases every year and there's no limit on my potential. So I understand why baseball players would want the same thing. I understand why they want to be paid based on their real value. The problem is, fans of Major League Baseball, they don't give a shit about any of this. And if they're not careful, if there is a labor strike, there could be irreparable damage to Major League Baseball. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Link to the main channels in the description below. I was 9 or 10 years old when Major League Baseball went on strike in the mid-90s. During the early to mid-90s, Major League Baseball was extremely popular in America. There was a reason it was called America's pastime. From 1990 to 1992, the World Series was averaging over 30 million viewers every year. The league went on strike during the middle of the 94 season, and it severely damaged public perception of Major League Baseball. Like I said, I was 10 years old at the time, but I remember a lot of people being mad at the players. Hell, they were pissed off with the entire league. I remember hearing complaints about the game being ruined over money. Millionaires arguing with billionaires. Ratings for the 1995 season were down double digits. If it weren't for the home run chase in 98, there's no telling when baseball would have made a comeback. I know they eventually received a lot of negative publicity for the steroid era, but you could make the case the steroid era saved Major League Baseball. The home run chase in 98, it was everywhere. I remember ESPN, they would cut into other programming just to show Mark McGwire or Sammy Sosa at bat. After the steroid controversy, Major League Baseball saw a massive decline, at least in mainstream appeal. Didn't have the same impact. Casual fans like me, we weren't watching the product. But last year, everything changed. Rob Manfred implemented rule changes. They had stars in major markets. You had Dodgers, Yankees in the World Series, which is the equivalent of a wet dream for Major League Baseball. And to their credit, they've carried that momentum into this season. But all of that disappears with a labor strike. All of that disappears if players and team owners are canceling the season over money. Now, we're a long way away from that potentially happening, but it's already being discussed as a real possibility. Current CBA runs through 2026, so it would be the 2027 season at risk. But if it actually happened, would Major League Baseball be able to recover? They got lucky in 98. You can't rely on that happening again. Hopefully, it doesn't come to a work stoppage. Hopefully, they're able to work something out. But if the 2027 season is postponed or worse, canceled altogether, would it negatively impact Major League Baseball? Would it destroy the momentum they've built over the last 2 years? And do you think they would be able to recover? Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys on the main channel.